Welcome back to the Nassau Coliseum. The Islanders must win or it is all over for them this season. One of the reasons they are behind.
It's the spring of 1994, and the New York Islanders are locked in a playoff matchup against their long-hated rivals, the New York Rangers. But the Islanders, a once famous NHL dynasty with 4 back-to-back championships in the early 1980s, entered the matchup as underdogs, their recent years marred by poor performance and dwindling fan support. The smattering of Islanders fans in attendance at a home Game 4 matchup hoped that they could reclaim some of the glory of their dynasty years by knocking their crosstown rivals out of the race for Lord Stanley's Cup. But the Rangers, led by Mark Messier and Wayne Gretzky, had different ideas. The Islanders were swept in a brutal 4-game series, conceding 22 goals. The defeat stinging even more as the Rangers went on to win the Stanley Cup, breaking their own 54-year drought, and in the process silencing Islanders fans and their favourite chant,
1940, 1940, and those are the two chants that keep going back and forth.
For the Islanders, the loss not only shattered hopes of a postseason redemption, but sent shockwaves through the franchise. Not wanting to be left behind, they set about transforming their franchise in an attempt to reclaim relevance in the New York metropolitan area and the NHL beyond. But what followed was one of the most embarrassing rebranding efforts in sports history. An attempt to redefine the Islanders for the new millennium ended up setting the team back a quarter century, all while boosting the sales of a particular fish sticks brand. Today, we're going to deep dive into the New York Islanders and the best, worst logo ever made.
And the Islanders have to avoid that. If they're going to be swept by the New York Rangers, at least keep some class and some dignity on your way out the door.
But let's set the scene.
Fitzpatrick and fights all over the ice now. The corner, throwing the dukes.
From the very beginning, the Islanders were always underdogs in New York. With the Rangers and Devils both on their doorstep, the team attracted a loyal and dedicated fan base of Long Islanders who saw them as their team. The classic blue and orange colour scheme paying homage to Nassau County.
The fans don't know much about hockey and they just make Ranger fans look like idiots.
We do take a lot of cheap shots, and I guess that's why a lot of the fans here at Madison Square Garden resent that.
With the rivalry with the New York Rangers a cornerstone of the team's culture, the Islander fans took immense pride in their ability to hold their own against one of the original 6 teams, in one of the NHL's most competitive markets. And at the dawn of the 1980s, they were a force to be reckoned with, winning 4 consecutive Stanley Cups from 1980 to 1983, cementing their legacy as one of hockey's dynasties. But by the early 1990s, as the championship banners at Nassau had begun to sag and stain, the Islanders were no longer the formidable team that had dominated the NHL. The franchise struggled on the ice with inconsistent playoff appearances and a declining fan base. The Rangers' 22-goal rout to the dismal Islanders and Ron Hextall en route to the 1994 Stanley Cup was a seismic shift, both in New York's hockey landscape and in the Islanders' perception of their own franchise. Their once proud identity was slipping away. They didn't want to be left behind. A sense of urgency took hold. Sagging ticket sales, rising player costs, and the bitter success of their crosstown rivals all paved the way for a rebranding conversation that would have been inconceivable just a decade prior. But why?
The National Hockey League and the game of hockey have been known for many things. The speed and grace of the game, the rough and rugged play, even the fighting. But now hockey is known for something entirely different. Fashion?
I know hockey's getting kind of hip-hop wear. I kind of noticed that about 6 months ago watching TV. Well, the hockey clothing it's become a pretty hot, hip thing.
As the Islanders were struggling to put pucks on net in New York, elsewhere the NHL had already entered a new era of brand reinvention, with several franchises capitalizing on bold logos and eye-catching color schemes to appeal to younger fans. The LA Kings, for example, had reinvented their image in 1988 by trading for Wayne Gretzky and immediately changing their colors to silver and black, emulating the crosstown sports fashion icons, the LA Raiders, capturing the attention of rap group N.W.A. and leading to a massive increase in merchandise sales.
From the ice to the stage and back out to the street, the new trend is everywhere.
I like the shark eating stick.
The successful introduction of other teams like the San Jose Sharks with their cartoon shark logo and the Mighty Ducks of Anaheim with their bold colors and duck hockey mask demonstrated that inventive branding could reach beyond the rink and into mainstream fashion. Islanders ownership, recognizing this trend, saw rebranding as an opportunity to tap into the lucrative sports merchandise market. Maybe championship success didn't start during on-ice practice. Maybe it started in the team store. Essentially, The Islanders' visibility as a small market team was dwarfed by their local competitors, the Rangers and Devils. The team hoped that a new look would kickstart a modern cycle of success. Attract younger fans with fashion-forward jerseys, this improves ticket sales. This generates more revenue, this affords us better players, this means we can ice a better team, this means we can win a championship. And so, as soon as Ron Hextall packed up the last of his goalie kit and left Nassau Coliseum after an embarrassing playoff loss, the rebrand was on.
Long Island, New York, America's fastest growing community. Home, place of business, playground for the millions who live in Nassau and Suffolk counties.
We've got a lot of farmland here too, and the ocean has been important to us from the beginning, for business, for pleasure, along 1,000 miles of waterfront.
For their new look, the Islanders took inspiration from Long Island's coastal heritage. Their new logo concept, featuring a fisherman, symbolised the rugged and resilient spirit of Long Island's fishing community. Billy Joel, who's a New York icon and famous singer in case you've been living under a rock, influenced the rebranding effort, but not directly. Joel's song The Downeaster Alexa celebrated the island's baymen, singing of their struggles with dwindling catches and declining fortunes tied to Long Island's coastal heritage. By associating with Joel, team executives envisioned more Long Island pride and perhaps even the occasional Joel appearance at the game. Maybe he'd sing the national anthem. Maybe he'd buy the team. Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's stick to the fisherman, who coincidentally was about to jump off the drawing board and into the rink. As part of the rebrand, the Islanders introduced Nyiles. See what they did there? A mascot representing the new fisherman theme. This 7-foot-tall figure donned a bulky suit with a massive headpiece, making it quite difficult to maneuver or even connect with the fans in any energetic way. And stupidly, in a fit of impatience, Nyiles hit the ice the very next season, long before the Fisherman logo was even unveiled, leaving fans confused about his purpose or origin. I mean, what the hell was he? Moving quickly, Islanders management attempted to explain him as a beachy kind of character, only alienating the fan base further, leading to a backlash from those who felt like a, quote, beach bum was a poor fit for the team's historic identity. And when the official logo dropped on June 22nd, 1995, things started happening very quickly.
Play continues. Let's check with Steve.
All right, Gary, thanks very much. Here is the future of the National Hockey League. The new Capitals logo, new Islander uniforms. It's Patrick Flatley. You're going to be a solid player. Darius Kasparaitis, you're going to have a lot of penalty minutes. Has Don Maloney called either of you guys? That's for next year. The Devils are for now. Guys?
I like those unis. I like the Islanders' new unis.
Rumours about the Islanders' new Fisherman logo began to swirl, with the New York Daily News publishing an article that showed a mock-up of Hall of Famer and Islanders legend Denis Potvin wearing a jersey featuring the logo, calling it a, quote, rip-off of a frozen dinner symbol, and comparing it to Gorton's Fisherman, the advertising logo used on boxes of Gorton's frozen fish sticks. At the introductory press conference, the Islanders unveiled the logo, and there it was. A bold fisherman with a sparkly beard sewn prominently on the front of the home and away jersey, with 2 lighthouse patches on the shoulder, also including wave patterns across the shoulders, waist and hands, with the names and numbers on the back of the jerseys designed to mimic the rolling sea. 1,000 fans immediately signed a petition asking the Islanders to change it back. As the Islanders took the ice for the first time in the jerseys for the Islanders' home opener against the Flyers, it was Nyiles who bore the brunt of fan frustration. He endured punches, kicks, attempts to knock off his head. A man punched the mascot in the face while requesting an autograph. A young boy repeatedly assaulted him during games, and the team instructed him to stay in the locker room if the Islanders were losing to avoid further harassment. Perhaps most embarrassingly, the fish sticks comment, as written in the New York Daily News, stuck to the design like glue. It did just look a lot like the Fisherman for Gorton's frozen fish products. Opposing fans, especially Rangers supporters, taunting Islanders fans with chants of "We want fish sticks" during games. Media outlets criticised the design as one of the worst in sports branding history, suggesting that the logo had damaged the Islanders brand far beyond what poor performance on the ice could ever achieve. And speaking of poor performance on the ice,
like Milbury, and here he comes. He kind of all of a sudden attention is somewhere else. He appears behind the bench.
Amid the logo disaster, the Islanders brought in Mike Milbury, a former Boston Bruins coach with a controversial reputation. Perhaps best known for launching into the stands at Madison Square Garden and planting one on a Rangers fan during his time as a player in 1979.
They're all into the stands.
Maybe that endeared him to the Islander fans. Anyway, Milbury's abrasive style and contentious relationship with players often backfired. In a telling sign of what was to come, when the New York Islanders met the Rangers again on October 17, 1995, Ray Ferraro stuck one in the Islanders' net just 2 minutes into the game. The Islanders would go on to lose 5-1. And then a bad situation got ridiculous. As calls for a return to the old logo mounted amongst the Islanders fan base in 1996, a pressure group of disgruntled fans was formed, calling themselves the Save the Islanders Coalition. They threw fish sticks and raw fish onto the ice holding banners that read, "Fish sticks are for dinner, not our logo." In order to stem the negativity, the team relented and actually petitioned the NHL to go back to their old logo mid-season. But the NHL declined. And the very next day, April 6th, 1996, the Islanders surprisingly played a home game against the Buffalo Sabres in their Fisherman jersey design, but with the original state logo. The first time the team had worn the logo since the 1994 season. As a compromise, the NHL had given the team permission to wear the original logo for up to 15 home games during the 96-97 season. Additionally, the league agreed to allow the Islanders to fully return to their original logo beginning the 97 season. And amid all this infighting and controversy, a new figure emerged. Businessman John Spano stepped forward to purchase the Islanders, promising stability and a financial investment in a new arena. With a continued decline in ticket sales and the team badly needing a new stadium, the announcement was seen as a godsend by the Islander faithful. Suddenly, a way out of this poorly designed nightmare seemed possible. With horrible jerseys, a mascot hiding in the locker room, and Mike Milbury trading away their best players, the fans rallied around Spano, holding "Spano for President" signs at games. Average home attendance increased by 10% during the 1996 season.
End of the week, and then John Spano should have his new little toy by, say, next Monday or Tuesday.
Spano's charisma and promises, however, masked a web of financial deception. He lacked the funds needed to purchase the team and used fraudulent means to secure the loans and make payments. He was a con man. When Spano's scheme finally unraveled, it became a scandal of historic proportions, symbolising the dysfunctional leadership that had plagued the Islanders since their decline in the 1990s. And so the Islanders played their final game in the Fisherman uniforms on April 12, 1997 against the Capitals. Nyiles finally came out of the locker room and the logo was retired.
Okay, now let's get into the Fisherman, shall we?
Today, the Islanders Fisherman logo is one of the most sought-after pieces of sports history and vintage. I know, as I just sold my 1995 starter lineup jacket featuring the Fisherman for $300. Yes, the exact jacket Mike Milbury wore at the introductory press conference. Yeah, that one. I do regret selling it, yes. The Islanders too have embraced Nyiles and the once embarrassing logo. The team even redesigned the jersey for the 2022-2023 Reverse Retro Series, marking a cultural shift in the appreciation of that dark time in Islander history.
Teddy, there is the new New York Islanders logo.
Whether it's become a beloved inside joke or a badge of honor that signifies resilience in the face of terrible management, terrible play, and terrible uniform design, the Islanders' journey from dynasty to dumpster fire embodies the roller coaster of sports fandom. After all, in the world of hockey, just as on the high seas, it's not always smooth sailing. Just ask Nyiles. Hey, thanks for watching. Make sure to check out our deep dive on Starter, Nike, and the history of the NFL sideline. Come find us on Instagram or subscribe to us here, and drop us a comment telling us which piece of sports history we should cover next.